Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I feel like sharing some Nope.avi stories tonight, /x/. Care to join me? I'll begin with my most recent story. Before I start, here are a few things. I'm a research scientist. I work for a university in the UK in the field of chemical physics. Because of the nature of the job, I have to leave home regularly. Specific places have specific equipment required for certain areas of research. As a result, me and a few colleagues rent a small house in Cambridge. We often end up there for days at a time. It's easier to just live there for a few days rather than commuting each day. This house is cheap, very. It's only got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, etc. It's difficult to explain, but it always has these creepy vibes, always uneasy in there. Be me, alone in the house, staying for one night, ready for bed, had a long day, really tired. Put the alarm on, walk upstairs and get into bed. Can hear this noise. Beep, 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 beep. It's the alarm. This alarm system beeps when arming and continues to beep until armed when it goes silent. The alarm will not arm if there is an obstruction. In other words, someone is still downstairs. But I'm alone. Alarm isn't armed. Someone is downstairs. No weapons. Man up. Run downstairs. No one there. Ice cold. Reflection in the window. Black figure. Spin around. Nobody there. Nope, nope, nope. Got my things and drove home. A 2-hour drive. No way I was sleeping there. Screw that.
Mine is short but pretty weird. Happened a while back. Sorry if some shit is blurry. At my friend's house, sleeping at around 2 a.m. Wake up to go take a piss walk to the bathroom. Hear cupboards and drawers opening downstairs. Go to check if my friend is there. He is sleeping. Wake him up and tell him I heard something downstairs. He grabs a bat from the closet in the hallway, yells downstairs to see if it's someone in his family. Hear someone start running downstairs. By the time we got there, the door was wide open. There is a key in the lock. Only 2 people in his house have keys, him and his mom. He didn't think anything was stolen, but later on he told me that there were some pictures of his younger sister missing. Moral of the story: change your locks when you move into someone's house.
Circa 2005. One last camp out with my cousin and friends before college. Awesome spot on uncle's property. Not far from home at all, but down a mountain, so I have to climb on an ATV. Set up camp next to a huge bend in the creek. The sun goes down. Spotlighting fish in water, no real luck. Cousin and I notice every time we turn light off, we hear whoosh whoosh through water. Turn light back on. Sound stops, but huge ripples in water. No fish in water. Sounds like someone wading in water. Moving towards our side of shore. Freak out, but don't say anything to other friends. Decide to go back to the campfire. Begin talking. Start to hear voices echoing off of the hillside. Not out of the ordinary due to night hunting and fishing in my state. Voices never get clear. Can't tell what they are whispering, but realize it's not coming off the hillside. It's all around us. All very disturbed at this time. Something runs through tall grass all around the campsite. Can hear very heavy footfalls of whatever. Not a small animal. One of the girls screams and points towards the ATV parked 10 yards away. At this moment, a huge wind gust almost blows fire completely out, goes down to ashes but sparks back. Look where the girl is pointing. See a very dark outline against a pitch-black night behind it. Realize that this is not good at all. We all stand and want to run to the ATV to leave but can't. The shadow figure is going to jack our ride. Shadow stands up like 7 feet tall, no feet. Zigzag flashes. Anyone who has seen anything like this knows how they move, back towards train tunnel entrances that go under mountain. They are 150 yards away and must pass to climb the trail out. After it flashes back towards the tunnel, all begin having panic attacks like seriously. Get on ATV, despite running fine coming down, has trouble starting to leave. It fires up after having to give it a choke and reverends all pile on. Fire is in a rock circle and cleared, so leave it burning. Nobody wanted to be in the dark despite ATV headlights. As we head out of there full speed, we all know we have to pass the train tunnel to get to the trail. As we pass the train tunnel, I am looking at it hard but see nothing. I thought I saw a shadow move, but seeing dark against more dark is hard when moving. Relieved that we can finally go without getting caught, murdered or whatever, by shadow. As we head up a windy path surrounded by trees in the dark, the girl on the back of a four-wheeler starts screaming again. She is screaming, "Go, go, go, please go faster." In tears, hysterical. At this point, male cousin starts telling me the same. I put it to the floor. No pedal on ATV, but whatever. Not looking behind me at all. Half out of fear, half out of safety. When we got back, the girl was having a full-blown panic about what she saw behind us. She literally never recovered. Had to take her to hospital. She now has major mental issues and requires meds. I couldn't get a word from her about what she saw, but my cousin told me. When I was driving up a mountain path, apparently the shadow figure was peeking out from behind trees. Its eyes were wide open and white. Look at your reflection right now and open your eyes as wide as you can. That's how wide open they were, staring at them from behind trees. Pic is related. That's how the eyes looked apparently, but more wide. It kept popping out from trees all the way up the path, till we passed a slave graveyard. From slaves who died building the tunnel. My cousin and I slept in his basement that night and heard scratches against the wall outside the door, but it could have been an animal. True story. Girl lost her mind from this and ruined her life.
This is when my mom told me. No one home but her and my uncle. They're sitting on the couch talking when they hear a weird noise. They chalk it up to the house settling. My mom sees something move out of the corner of her eye and thinks it's the cat and ignores it. She turns to my uncle and he's white as a ghost. So she turns around and sees a vapor coming down the stairs. She turns to ask my uncle if he saw that, but he's gone. He's already ran down the block to his house and left my mom for dead. Mom noped out of the house until my dad came home.
14 or 15 years old. Occasionally feel static just floating in the middle of a room. Hairs will raise up when you put your arm into it. Everybody in the family knew about it. They all could see their hairs go up too when they found it. Play around with it when it either floats over near the TV room chairs or when you run into it walking around the house. Hop out of the shower one night, drying off in the bedroom. Suddenly feel the static cover all over my back and move over the rest of me. Start to think that this thing is a bit weird. Few nights later, come home with my family after a dinner out, walking past the room, see a shadow of a man in my room through the window. Stop and wait for everyone to walk past to see if it was any of their shadows. They walk past, shadow moving with them. All good, silly me. The shadow then walks straight back to where it was. Slowly walks back again, nearly cry from being spooked. Sleep with the lights on, tell everyone that I'm freaking out. Mum says that nothing nasty would be in the house because she always imagines white nice light over the house or some crap. Few days later again, chatting with Mum in the kitchen. We both hear my dad call out for me to come up the stairs. Something feels off. Look in the living room to see Dad asleep. Mum nopes with me a bit and tries looking at what's up there from the bottom. Nothing. Jokes around that obviously something is trying to scare me into doing my homework. Mum, please. Then I started to remember all those native stories, Australian, about those demon things that would try to lure children out of their homes to eat them by mimicking their parents' voices. I couldn't sleep without the light on for days after that. Have constant nightmares about two shadow-looking thing with a white mask constantly watching. Start getting sleep deprived for a few more days. And then nothing. It all stopped. I'm now 19. Lucky me.
This happened when I was 13. Be 13. St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday for my family. Big party that we throw every year. Tons of food. Dad was forced to work while Mom, sister, and I were home alone. Helping Mom cook food for the party in the kitchen. Sister sitting in a rocking chair watching TV. Around 2 in the afternoon. Very loud bangs in our back room. We used it for storage at the time. 3 of us got together. Too spooky for us. Mum is third-degree black belt, gets sword off of wall, opens the door expecting a burglar. Everything is thrown about, papers everywhere, filing cabinets and chairs not where they were supposed to be. Strangest part, we found Pic-related except green lying everywhere in that room. No sign of breaking and entering, only one way to get in or out of that room, which was the way we entered. TFW leprechauns vandalized my house and put coconut-type balls around a room.
I've posted this once or twice here and just once on /b/. Some of you might recognize it. When I was 10 years old and go to stay at the village with my grandma and grandpa for the summer. They don't live there, just go there for the summer to grow veggies and stuff. Grandpa is on a part-time job in the city, which isn't that far, and comes home very late at night, normal day. Wake up, jerk around with other kids, mostly the neighbors. Play hide and seek, normal 10-year-old activities. Grandma calls from our house, which is near our playground, tells me to come with her to the dairy, which is in the valley below our house, which is the second last house on the road exiting our village. Go and get some cheese and milk from the owners of the dairy. Start heading back home, climbing the steep road that leads to our house. Grandma takes a break, stares at the forest and the sun setting down slowly behind the trees. What a beautiful sunset. Yeah, sure is. I have never seen such a sunset in my life before. But then I realize my room window faces east, and I watch the sun rise every morning. Pro tip, the forest is on the north side of the village. My face when I realize we are looking at a second sun that is setting north, while the real one is behind the hill and is already not visible from our point of view. Grandma, the sun does not set in that direction. What? Grandma realizes WTF this is. We see the dairy chief running up the hill towards us, telling us to get home fast. The entire village is in shock. The real sun already sets. The outside is still very bright because of the second sun that has landed in the forest next to our village. Me and Grandma get in the house, lock doors, call neighbors. Are you seeing the second sun too? Yep. Around 10 p.m. Grandpa gets home. WTF is going on. We explain. Okay, go to bed. I will stay watch. Suddenly the animals in the dairy start giving out incredibly loud cries for help. Cows and goats and sheep destroying their throats from baas and moos. I cannot sleep. WTF is going on. Suddenly everything stops. I do not question it and fall asleep, ASAP. Fast forward to morning. Grandpa says that at one point the ball of fire just took off into the sky. All animals found dead later that morning. Forest fire near the landing spot. The firefighters that went there got radiation sickness. Nothing to this date grows on the land where that thing landed.
This happened a few years ago. Not that scary, but one I have not shared here before. My family owns a second home that is used as a company building for our business. The house is a nice size, built in 1948, and has cameras all throughout. One night, I had to go in to help my dad. We were upstairs in his office, just shooting the shit and smoking cigars. We both hear footsteps and a bunch of papers shuffling. It sounded very fast and frantic. Look at the camera feed on the computer and notice no one else is in the office. We get up to investigate. As soon as we get to the doorway, everything just gets silent. Look through the whole house, even behind shower curtains. Nothing out of place. Just a weird electric feeling in the air. My dad is a total skeptic when it comes to ghosts. However, he was even a little spooked by this event.
I have a few short green texts of 2 spooky for me incidents that have happened to me in my life. Here goes, be me 10 or 11. Share a wooden slat frame bunk bed with my older brother. Top bunk. Wake up and look through the gap in the wooden planks. See a shadowed figure peeking through the silver metallic blinds in my room. Assume it's my mother. Don't ask me why, just felt it. Call out, "Mom, what are you doing?" It freezes. It didn't step towards me or lunge. It just appeared in front of the gap between the planks. Had to stop writing here, started freaking out. Completely black head and face, close eyes and heart pounding. Feel it's still watching me and realize this is not my mother. Literally wet myself and whimpered in fear. I didn't sleep that night.
I was too scared to open my eyes and too scared to fall asleep in case it got me, because I could feel it watching me until the light from the sun hit my eyes. Continuing with another story. B13, stay up late in the downstairs living room on the desktop computer, scrolling around on the internet, talking to people on MSN, listening to music, watching stuff, etc. Just got a new dog, still a puppy. Gets to 3 a.m., better go to bed. Walk out of the living room and go to the kitchen door. We have a baby guardrail in place so the dog doesn't get out and shit everywhere or something. Lean over to stroke and comfort him. Felt bad leaving him downstairs in the dark. His ears go down, he begins to whimper and lay down with wide eyes. Feel a cold wave hit me. Goosebumps on my shoulders and arms, it begins to spread across my body. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a face. Look towards the stairs. Hovering roughly 30 centimeters of the ground is a woman in a white dress. Her face is mangled and her eyes black and empty. She is slightly glowing with a white aura. Grab the puppy and nope out of there. Close my eyes and run upstairs. Sit in bedroom with the light on, staring at the door, praying for her not to enter. Neither I nor the dog fell asleep that night. B14. At a friend's house for a sleepover in his basement. It was all decorated up, had a big TV, PS2, 2 sofas, and didn't really resemble a basement. There are exactly 6 of us. Have fun playing Guitar Hero on PS2, eating pizza, all that good shit. My friend's mom comes down to tell us that it's going to storm quite badly later. I should also add his mom was single and lived on her own with her son. She told us this because the power would most likely be cut off. Feel the breeze in the basement whilst watching an epic Guitar Hero duel between friends. Turn around to see a window. Ask a friend why there is a window in the basement. He says it used to be a coal chute thing. It just leads outside and is covered by metal bars on the ground outside. Storm arrives and we ignore it at first. Gets really violent and power goes off. We all decide it's pretty late and get into our sleeping bags. We all talk as one by one people begin to fall asleep. I fell asleep. I'm awoken to my name being whispered and my leg being shaken. Friend isn't looking at me. He is wide-eyed and what little light there is filling the room coming from the window is moonlight. 4 others are awake and sitting up looking the same direction. One other friend is fast asleep on the sofa. Whisper to friends about what they are staring at. He points at the corner of the wall slowly, like a scene from a horror film. There's a small child in the corner of the basement facing the wall. I can hear indistinct whispering like when you play a prank pretending to say something about someone in front of them by pretending to whisper into a friend's ear. It gets louder and louder. Sudden silence. I finally came to the realization that there are now 7 people in the room. Almost as if someone is directly next to my ear, I hear a faint whisper, 1, 2, 3. The child that was facing the wall screams with a child's laughter and shouts, "Hide and go seek," as it runs up the stairs. We froze in terror. We hear the footsteps of the child upstairs banging. Silence. The light previously filling the room from the moon fades away and it gets dark. Someone gets up and goes upstairs. We all plead for them to not go and just stay down here. As they descend the stairs, the footsteps come back. They continue up the stairs, completely out of sight. Moonlight fills the room once more. There are 6 of us in the room. No one left and no one came in. We never went back to our friend's house after that night, and to our knowledge, he never went back into the basement again. Last one, B18, working at Tesco's supermarket in the UK. Finished shift at midnight. Tired. I walk to and from work because it's only 2 miles away and the path back is well lit. Finally, I arrived at my house. Open, then close my gate and proceed into my garden. Sensor floodlight fills the garden with light. My obviously paranoid self looks around for anything out of the ordinary. Looks clear. Scuffling around the gravel outside in the car park. Should also mention I live in an estate of houses with its own car park, sort of like a cul-de-sac. Shit pants. Proceed to sprint to the door and frantically search my bag for keys. Footsteps on gravel. They slow down to a walking pace. Start to wonder who the hell is out there. There is a small hole in my gate. My gate and fence are 8 feet all the way around. See 2 shadows under the gate? Looks like feet. See eye peering through the hole. Nope.jpg. Get inside, lock the door, run upstairs, curl into a ball and fall asleep. Wake up around 2 a.m. and feel like I'm being watched. Grab a shitty BlackBerry phone to turn on the flashlight app. Phone takes a picture, stupid phone. Look at the picture the next day, shit a brick. There is a faded eye in the crack of the wardrobe looking directly at me. I'm posting the original, and if you can't see it, I'll use my paint skills to outline it.
Only the thumbnail data was saved, so this is the best image available.
Be new in town, and I don't know anyone outside of work I moved there for. Stop at an inn's bar halfway between work and home most nights. Become bro with the owner. Be there drinking when freak snowstorm kicks up. It would be a pain and a half to get home. Ask in bro if I can get a room. He says sorry, all booked up. Some kind of conference in town. Stick around, hoping the weather gets better. Gets worse. Ask in bro one more time. Hope someone canceled or something. Says there is a room, but I don't really want it. Would be damn near a lemming to drive in a snowstorm. Say, don't care, I'll take it. The room seems fine, but a bit musty. Pass out. Keep having messed up dreams, like when you have a fever. Wake up just about every hour. Swear I keep hearing running and whispering. Seeing stuff out of the corner of my eye. Chalk it up to lack of sleep. Morning finally comes. Inbro asks how it was. Tell him about the night. Expect him to laugh it off. Straight-faced. Tells me a little girl died of TB in that room. No one can sleep in there. They don't bother booking anyone in there anymore. Only let me stay due to the storm. Nope, out a bit. Still stop in for drinks often. Never stay the night again.
Not paranormal, but definitely nope-worthy. Be about 13 at my grandparents' new house in the countryside of Texas. Hear heavy sounds outside the front door. It's night, and because it's the country, it's pitch black outside. Being a kid, I go out to check on the noise. I mean, the visibility didn't seem that bad, and my grandpa was right there by the door watching me, so it didn't seem like a bad idea. 10 steps out the door and a huge thumping sound comes at me. At this point, I have no idea about what's coming and I freeze up. Full-grown pitch black all over Texas, Longhorn Bull is running full speed past me all of a sudden, inches away from being trampled and or impaled by horns. Also, this one is damn near the same thing. Going to my new girlfriend's house for my graduation party. It's at her uncle's house, who I've never met. Get out the car, start across the front yard, and notice a stupidly large doghouse, but think nothing of it because there's no cautionary signage or anything implying there is danger in this yard. Hell, one of her best friends was even smiling and waving me over to come in. There's a broken down truck, and also a decent-sized tree behind it in the yard as well. At this point in my life, I'm probably 6'2", 280 pounds, not a small man by far. It was sleeping behind the truck. They say it's a dog. But basically what happened was all of a sudden there was a canine-like behemoth looking directly in my eyes with what I gathered to be a look of extreme confusion and delight that someone had entered his range. Mom used to breed pit bulls professionally, so I'm no stranger to dogs or even big dogs, but I'm not dumb enough to ignore the thickness of the chain and collar that was on this dog. In the end, I casually turned around and walked in a straight line away from him. I could literally hear his teeth snap right behind my neck as the chain caught him. Uncle comes out with his pistol with a look of relief on his face that he wouldn't have to kill his dog to save my life that day. One more story that's not paranormal but invokes that nope feeling when I think about it. Be about 7. Stepdad bodybuilds as a hobby. I want to lift weights, but hell, if I'm going to ask for adult supervision. There's about 200 pounds on each side. I take off all the plates one by one, on only one side. As I take off the last 45-pound plate, the other end slams down. I can still feel the air from the steel missing my chin that day.
Be 18 or so. I live in a rural town. Nothing around for the next forever except farms and bushland. One night, me and a friend were bored, so we decided to go for a drive. He's driving. We take some back roads that lead behind a mountain highway. If you continue on them for 45 minutes, you eventually make it to a way smaller town than ours. But otherwise, it's absolutely barren. No houses or farms or anything on this road. About halfway up, we decide we are bored of this road and turn around, driving for probably only 60 seconds back when someone comes screaming up behind us. I can vaguely make out that it's a super old ute that's like something a creepy old mutant hillbilly family would drive. We laugh off how screwed these people must be, and my friend starts driving like a maniac, kicking his tires out on every corner and getting some serious speed down this mountain. The hillbilly mobile doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat keeping up with us, inches away from us the entire time. Finally get down to flat land and a clearing with paddocks on either side. Ute stops dead, turns around and drives back up the road all leisurely like. We go home. I've heard stories about the back roads around here about hitchhikers who try to murder people when they stop before even so much as getting in the car or asking which way.
Not too spooky, but it certainly gave my friend and I a fright. Summer leading up to my freshman year. My best friend asks if I'd like to spend a chunk of summer vacation with her at her dad's house in Washington State. My parents are chill with it, so the plans are a go. Turns out her dad lives on a beautiful chunk of property in the mountains. Lots of trees, a flowing river, bald eagles, coyotes, elk, etc. Dad has one dog at the time, a pit bull ex-golden retriever. Sweet dog, but a little hyper. Her dad and her dad's then-girlfriend were nurses who worked the night shift at the local hospital. Around 2 a.m. one night, morning, whatever, we let the dog out to potty. There is no fence, so she is on a long tether. Go back inside, play around with some vidya. Suddenly hear the dog going crazy. Run to the front door and open it. Sounds like something enormous is rolling through the woods. Sounds like trees are being torn up, no distinct footsteps, no wind, clear starry night. Nope.avi. The dog is straining to get to the front porch. Since we're scared shits, we hide and accidentally leave the dog outside for a bit. Of course, we eventually let the dog back in once we realized our stupidity. My friend's dad laughed off the situation as a neighbor. I never saw any neighbors while I was there. I did some snooping outside the next day. Nothing seemed disturbed at all. I've got another story. A couple years ago, dead of night, sleeping like a baby. Dad tends to sleep in the far family room. Suddenly awakened by the sound of thundering footsteps coming from the family room. Whimpering screams on top of footsteps. Hear Dad run into the bathroom and slam the door. Peer out my bedroom door and see that the bathroom door is closed, no lights on. Dad has night terrors sometimes, so him screaming or talking during the night isn't uncommon. Chalk this up to a bad one and just go back to bed. Next morning, ask Mom if she heard Dad screaming and running. No. Ask my sister the same thing. Non-WTF are you talking about? Ask Dad if he remembers going into the bathroom. No. I realized I never heard anyone leave the bathroom. What the actual hell.jpg?
Growing up, we lived in what was the middle of a very old orange pecan plantation. In the middle of our neighborhood, there is a patch of woods, about 60 acres, that never ended up getting developed. There was, however, an old black hermit that lived in the woods, and as we played there, us kids were amicable towards him. Well, one day we were talking to him, and he told us that the woods were basically like the back 40, or like slave quarters. He told us that his ancestors lived there and died there. He told us there are many graves in the woods. After knowing this, many features of the woods made sense. Old crop areas, empty home sites with huge fruit trees and bottle pits, drainage ditches through heavy woods. Judging by the tree's diameter and the depth of the ditches, you can tell they were dug by hand a long time ago. We used the ditches as walkways at night. We would light torches to see our way through the ditches. One night we got towards the middle of the woods and heard faint voices. We all stopped to listen better, thinking maybe cops or rival delinquents. We all clearly heard chains rattling and voices seemingly ahead of us in the ditch. Nope. The next day I investigated to no avail. Another night, back in the woods with a campfire. Voice is a voice moderately loud says my friend's name from close enough that we should have seen whoever said it. Figure now it's friends screwing with us. We beat the hell out of the bushes and light fire to pine straw. Torches go crazy to find perp. Nobody.
Be me. I live alone. Just broke up with my girlfriend. Feels bad, man. Weird has been happening ever since she moved out. Wake up, something feels off. Go to the bathroom to piss. Feeling of being watched, almost unfazed, as this shit happens a lot lately. Look into the mirror. Behind me, in the window, I see a white face through the mirror. Turn around at the speed of light. Nothing. Slowly turn back. Mirror is completely black. Chills is not an accurate word of what ran down my spine at that point. Slowly white face appears in the mirror. Same face. It speaks. Its face blurs a bit as the words come out. But you can't do this. I stand there in silent terror. No, 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 no. It's screaming. Sharp pains shoot through my head. Screw this. Clutching my head, I run out of the room, knocking over all kinds of shit in the process. Blackness. Wake up later, assume it's a nightmare. Head to the bathroom, all the shit is still knocked over. Slowly make my way through the house. It looks like a tornado hit it. Cuts on my hands and forearms. Find a little book with messed up drawings in my living room. Burn the book, clean the house. I think I'm going insane.
My family has a history of psychic phenomena attached to it, going all the way back to Scotland before we came to Canada in the 17th century. Even had a few ancestors who were hung for witchcraft. Curled up in bed a few years back when I still lived with my mother at her townhouse. I can't sleep, tossing and turning, feeling restless. Look over at the door, notice an odd shadow that wasn't there before. Shadows play tricks all the time. Might be the moonlight from outside, whatever. Shadow moves, looks like a hooded figure. Lifts an arm up across the door, looks like it has a skeletal hand. Nope, hand settles near the doorknob. The door starts to very slowly open with no visible turning of the doorknob. Nope, 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 turn the light on. Something pushes the door open enough to move through. It's my cat. The cat hops up on bed, turn light off. The shadow is now totally not there at all. Not even a vague shape. I didn't sleep that night.
I have a few that have a weird background, but it's almost 6 a.m. where I am. Backstory. I worked for Sioux Lake Incorporation as a moderator on their game Habbo Hotel between 2003 and 2008-ish. I did other jobs, but I was hired originally as a mod, between 2008 and 2010. I quit my job with Sioux Lake, but I keep in close contact with a lot of the staff because they became good friends of mine. Habbo user Bree Atkins, aka Mary, dies in a car accident. Her account is linked to an @Sioux Lake email and has its password changed to prevent anyone from breaching it. Fast forward a year or so. Get an email from my friend, who is a moderator for Habbo. It just reads as something like, "Get on Habbo now, you have to see this. Oblige and log in to see what he wanted." He takes me to one of his rooms that contains items that were taken off of people for various reasons. Scripted items, stolen items, etc. He walks his avatar over to 3 trophies and says, "Click those and see whose account they're from." Trophies are all blank, without inscriptions, and sent from the account Mary. This wouldn't be a problem if the trophies were old, but they weren't. They were sent literally months after her death. Ask him where he got them from, and he claims he took them from a popular trading room, where they were on display, with a few other trophies, and he says he saw them as worth removing from the public eye. Mary was never logged into during the period that these trophies were sent, so the account hadn't been hacked. He did checks on them. They were from the account Mary and not scripted or tampered with at all. We agree that it must have just been a glitch, even though neither of us really bought it. Worth adding, only high-up admins have access to Mary, and none of them would do something as crude as sending trophies from it as a joke. It made 0 sense how 3 of them all belonged to one person, and no more ever surfaced.
Never thought anything weird happened to me until I read this thread and it clicked. Pick unrelated. Jazz the Jackrabbit. Be me, 10 or 11 years old. Had to go to the bathroom. Lived in Wisconsin, it was snowy and it got dark out fast. Was in the bathroom finishing up, washing hands, giant mirror on the bathroom counter. See my blinds open like someone was peeking through them. Didn't think much of it. It happened so fast, then it stopped. I figured it was one of my parents messing around. Asked parents, Mom was downstairs and Dad wasn't home. Never thought of it again. About 3 years later, it comes up in my memory. I realized the blinds were inside the house. Get creeped out and run up to our bathroom to confirm. The blinds were on the inside like I said, and I thought about this for a long time. I know for a fact I saw someone peeking through and I saw eyes. It was just so real. This freaks me out so bad now that I've been on /x/ for about 2 years.
Mother died a few months ago. Shit sucks. She was my only family and I loved her very much. Wake up to her whispering, "I love you, honey." Think nothing of it, PTSD probably. Get ready for a day of doing absolutely nothing like I do every day. Go on the computer. Monitor won't turn on. Both my monitors are unplugged. My mother would always do stupid shit like this because she thought it turned off the entire computer and liked to pick with me. Not even a Nope story because this brought the ultimate feeling of contentment, knowing she was still with me.
It's not really a story. Is 26 House's old pre-World War I workers' cottage. Removal house, no lead paint, all modern stuff. The wind blows through the eaves like it's howling, even if only blowing slightly, and house is settling all the damn time. All the windows in the house are mismatched. At night, sometimes you hear someone walking around the property at night, but can never find anyone. Chickens and ducks spook at night, no sign of snake or dog in their pen. When I first moved in, my birds died on the second night, but I did not hear them spook. When there is a dog on the property at night, it lives a few blocks away, they're a menace. It runs up the stairs and barks at the front door, and will not go away for a few hours. It also killed some birds before it left. Sometimes you see faces in the windows or mirrors at night, and you can feel when they're in the windows. So avoid looking at them. The faces are sometimes shadows, sometimes white bald with them saucer eyes, or the occasionally shadow guy standing facing the back door but not knocking or letting himself in. I do go out with a torch to check if someone is actually there lurking, but never anyone. Things go missing, then reappear where they were, and you know you've looked there repeatedly. And there's the nightmares. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in a long time. Dad accuses me of talking at night, or having conversations, or being on the phone when I haven't been. He won't believe otherwise. Sometimes I hear him call my name too when he hasn't. Cat sometimes, for no discernible reason, will run up and try to scale the walls, or attack them, then run under my bed or out of the house. Once she was gone for 3 days. It's probably nothing though.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Here's a story that I've never shared before. It's not really paranormal, but it scares the living shit out of me. 17 years old, I've been smoking weed regularly with a couple of guys from college. I'm from the UK, we start college at 16. For a year now. One of the guys usually drives, and we smoke up in this field that's deserted at night. Driver gets a call from someone. He starts freaking out, literally laying on the floor, screaming down the phone. Never heard screaming like that before. It was terrifying. He's not even making sense. He's like writhing around on the floor and screaming down the phone. Starts doing this weird laughing, all bug-eyed and weird. Calmly puts his phone in his pocket. Climbs a very tall fence for a tennis court. Jumps off, lands on his neck and dies. Guy I hung around with every day for a year just ups and ends himself because of a phone call, and none of us know who it was on the other end. I wish I was making this up, but it fucked me up for a while afterwards. The other guy we were with started using ketamine regularly. We're both 21 now, and he's completely screwed in the head. I was on medication for a while afterwards, shitty citalopram, but came off it quickly. The police put it down to a stoned idiot climbing the fence. They interviewed us both once, and that was it. I never even heard from his family. They moved out of the county pretty quickly. I still have his younger brother on Facebook. I've buried the memory somewhere in my brain and just try to ignore it. But whenever my phone rings and I don't have the number saved, then I always get a horrible feeling, and I never answer. I'm not even explaining how weird this guy was acting when he answered his phone. It was horrible. The noises he was making were so fucking disgusting. I can't even try to explain it because it makes me feel physically sick.
Boy Scouts hiking in late spring. Startled feral dog with a bloody muzzle. Scoutmaster screams not to touch it. It runs away from us. Dog falls down a small cliff, rolls, runs without stopping. We smell rotting stuff, so of course we check. Bloody, rotten, maggot-infested deer carcass in 3 pieces nearby. Spend the rest of the hike debating whether the blood on the carcass was from the dog or the deer itself. Because if it was that rotten, the blood ought to be gone, maybe. Nobody has a merit badge in forensics. Get back to the campsite, hungry, tired. Break out the hamburger and buns and peppers and onions and all that good shit. Start cooking. At first it smells wonderful, but then it starts to smell terrible. Rotting rot. Absolutely disgusting. .jpg. We throw away all the meat, unable to tell what's good and what's bad. Eat our veggies and some canned soup and instant oatmeal. Unsatisfied. That night when I wake up, I kind of have to pee. Try to decide whether to stay in a warm sleeping bag or go pee. It's a weighty decision. Then I notice I'm smelling rot again. Hear footsteps outside the tent, but there's 20 of us. Could be anyone. Smell is stronger now. Footsteps are closer. I start to feel uncomfortable. Tent flap opens. It wasn't zipped. It's my friend coming back inside. Smell wafts in with him. Don't you smell that? Smell what? WTF, now I really have to pee, but I'm imagining a zombie feral dog roaming outside the tent. Eventually I went back to sleep. Wake up in the AM, still smell it. Turns out my genius friend touched part of the deer carcass with his fucking glove. And now he has residue on both gloves, his jacket and his jeans. We burn the gloves, seal jeans and jacket in a trash bag, and seal trash bag in another trash bag. I can still smell it 2 days later. It got onto my nose hairs or something. Never trust my friend to be smart again. Dream of zombie dogs and dead deer for months.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check the Odyssey and Rumble pages for separate archives of previous broadcasts.